Hey everyone, welcome back to Singularity. I am going to be playing a little bit of this today. It's pretty late and I'm at my family's house right now, so I'm trying to be kind of quiet, but this is the new thing going on here, and I have been having a lot of fun. I played a lot of it by myself just to kind of see what it is and stuff like that and get it done without having to do so many recordings. But I wanted to at least play this before it ends, so yay. I'm making progress. I have a lot of things to read here, but first I'm gonna try and finish this because there's a lot that I need to level up here. This is actually pretty far compared to what I normally do in terms of how many things I've finished for this, because I've already finished 12 out of 16 things, so that's pretty fun. So I'll read them, but first I'm gonna check on these other ones because I haven't really interacted with them other than launching the game in the time I've been gone. So I have a lot to upgrade here. A lot of these I've read before, so okay. Okay, I can actually... Oh, well, now there's more. But I was gonna say I could level up a lot of things. Yeah, I was almost gonna be able to level up all the things, but then now there are more than there used to be, so... Oh, well now. There are more. Okay. Alright. Oh, interesting. I will get that. I don't know what that does, but okay. I need so many turtles because they're my favorite. Okay. That's weird. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Still not the thing I need to automate this, but oh well. Hopefully that's something I'll get soon. Alright. I've also got enough mutagen to rank up something. I think I will do this one. And then I need that one to go faster than it's going. Oh, doing a photo is easy. Perfect. I need to go to the other version though. Alright. I love this one, the Ankylosaurus. It's very cute. It's satisfying being able to level them up so much at once. That's the advantage of leaving for a while. Alright, and I can have enough mutagen for some more things now, which is perfect. This one's going pretty fast. I might be able to finish that one today. Oh yes, okay. I have automated it. Perfect. And so grasping hands, the long prehensile fingers of hands are able to grab and grasp objects, offering the creatures that have them a huge dexterity advantage. Nice. Finally. That's been so long without that being automated, so I'm very excited now. Alright, and now the one where I'm very excited to see how much has accumulated because it's so time consuming right now. Well, this bar is actually pretty full. Even though I know that it's not gonna stay that way. Hopefully, I have enough to get the new planet now. Oh yeah, perfect. Alright. Yes, I called it. I knew it. Okay. Cloudy blue Uranus is the 7th planet from the sun. Isolated, cold, and windy, Uranus has a small ring system and many moons. With a mostly liquid surface, it's one of the least dense planets in the solar system. Nice. Oh, I'm excited about that. Okay. And I can actually rank it up right now. That's perfect already. Yay, okay. So I can automate it now too. Uranus has the coldest atmosphere in our solar system, reaching temperatures as low as negative 220 degrees Celsius. Good to know. Alright, and now I can also start this, which is actually gonna go pretty fast, surprisingly. And then let's see what else I need to do. Europa. Oh yes, perfect. Yay. I know it doesn't sound like I'm as excited. I am very excited. I'm just trying to be quiet. Alright, and then Europa. Okay. This is so exciting. There's another thing out here. Not sure what that is yet, but good to know. I'm excited about this because it's gonna give so much, and especially when it and Saturn both finish. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Okay. Yay. But now I'm gonna go back to this one because I have so much to read here and do here. So I'm gonna let this keep accumulating so I can try and get that. Okay. I guess I should start at the top. The thing that you collect in this is nutrients, by the way. So, sunlight zone. Sunlight defines the epipelagic zone, the top layer of open ocean. All marine plants live here. Surrounded by thousands of miles of brightly lit water with nowhere to hide, animals need either speed or camouflage to catch food and avoid becoming food. What eats what? Okay. And then we have whale power. Whales are massive beasts thanks to the bounty of food here and below. To small creatures, turbulent currents feel like a washing machine set on high, but bulky whales can power through the viscous liquid with ease. They're the deepest diving mammals. Microscopic plants. Open ocean plants are microscopic algae called phytoplankton. From drifting single-celled diatoms to dinoflagellates that whip through the water. They use sunlight to pull carbon from carbon dioxide and turn it into sugar, a nutrient that fuels growth. Global drifters. Algae drift far and wide on currents, waves, and tides. Along for the ride are phytoplankton, microscopic animals such as krill, copepods, and fish larvae. Because Earth's seawater is all connected, ocean drifters and the swimmers that eat them are similar everywhere. Okay, speedy swimmers. Swimmers in the sunlight zone tend to be blue or gray to blend in. Marlin and other apex predators are streamlined for speed and long-distance travel. They herd schools of fish into a tight, dense circle called a bait ball and then zoom through it to feed. Sinking detritus. After eating phytoplankton or each other, animals excrete waste full of carbon, nitrogen, and other nutrients. This detritus sinks along with shells, scales, molted skeletons, carcasses, and everything else that doesn't float. Remember that fact as we descend. Okay. Next, Twilight Zone. From 200 to 1,000 meters deep, the mesopelagic middle open ocean appears dark to our eyes. Thing to click on. Sure. Appears dark to our eyes, but sunlight does reach here. Blue light on the high energy end of the color spectrum reaches the deepest. In the twilight, how do animals see without being seen by enemies? Okay. Oxygen exploit. Oxygen-poor water can't sustain big predators. To explore these safer areas, the vampire squid evolved oversized gills and blue blood that circulates oxygen well. It's the only cephalopod that can live its whole life in an oxygen minimum zone, eating mostly detritus. Okay. Fish world. Air-breathing whales, seals, dolphins, and other mammals dive deep to feed. About 90% of the world's fish by mass live in this zone, where dimness offers them some cover. Quadrillions of small fish called bristlemouths are the most numerous vertebrate on the planet. Okay. Hiding in the light. Hatchet fish use light to hide. When seen from below, photophores lining the belly blend into the light above. Oh, that looks cool. Its huge yellow eyes can distinguish sunlight from bioluminescence, but enemy eyes can't. A skinny body profile also makes the fish hard to see. Making light. Life that can glow is rare on land, but it's the rule in the dark sea. Up to 90% of deep dwellers are bioluminescent. Some have photophore glands in their skin that create light chemically, combining oxygen and luciferin. Others harbor glowing bacteria on their bodies. Alarms and flashbangs. Light can be a defense. Jellyfish put on a fireworks show to warn, "I taste bad and I sting." Copepods drop a time-delayed flashbang to allow for a getaway. When attacked, many prey species emit an alarm light to lure a second predator to eat the first one. That's funny. Okay. Lurking champion. Most bioluminescence is blue. Oh my gosh. But the black dragonfish also emits a red glow that spotlights red prey like a sniper scope. The hunter's eyes can detect red, but the prey's eyes cannot, which makes this top twilight predator a master lurker. It can see without being seen. Light as a lure. Anglerfish are named for their fishing rod, a glowing barbel or feeler that dangles over gaping toothy mouth. With their large eyes, squid and fish home in on that glow, usually the sign of a snack, but they can't see the dark hunter lurking behind it. Seeing blue. Twilight eyes are tuned to blue light. Phronema is a tiny hunter with two big eyes that peer far ahead and two side eyes that scan nearby. When it spies the blue glow of a salp plankton, it claws and chews out the salp's guts and uses the barrel ruminant as a nursery. Interesting. Red is the new black. Red sunlight doesn't reach this deep, so the color appears black. Even a bright red grouper blends into the dark, hidden from predators and able to sneak up on tasty crabs. Many transparent jellyfish have red stomachs to conceal the glowing prey they eat. That's interesting. See-through bodies. In dim light, transparent bodies are invisible. Sea butterflies are snails that evolve see-through camouflage by ditching their shells and pigments. A single muscular foot for crawling became two flaps for swimming, each coated with a sticky mucus to snag detritus to eat. That's fascinating that they know it's a snail, even though it's evolved very differently. Marine snow. Only 20% of detritus from the sunlight zone makes it here. On the way down, it's eaten, expelled, and eaten again. Also called marine snow, the fraction of particles that do reach the bottom will take weeks to arrive, slightly faster if they clump together. Snot palace. Drifters that rely on food coming to them have to grab as much as they can. In less than an hour, giant larvaceae can build a sticky, meter-wide snot palace out of mucus. The many chambers and channels trap and filter detritus for the tadpole-sized resident. That's fun. Alright. Midnight zone. At 1,000 to 4,000 meters, the bathypelagic zone makes up 90% of the ocean and yet hosts only a fraction of its creatures. There's zero sunlight, crushing pressure, a near-freezing chill, and scant food. Just 5% of the sinking detritus. Why live here at all? Okay. Nightly migrations. A scarcity of food drives Earth's biggest migration. Each night, hordes of glowing jellies, squid, fish, and zooplankton rise to the surface to feed. Journeying to a predator-filled zone is exhausting and risky, but survivors return to inky black safety before dawn. Slow living. With little to eat, midnight zone creatures are sluggish. Sleeper sharks swim to the surface each night, but at a top speed that's slower than a walk. The upside to a slow metabolism is longevity. Sleeper sharks live at least 272 years, the longest of any vertebrate. It's interesting that that's not rounded. Like, it's specifically 272, not 270, which is interesting. Anyway, under pressure. Water pressure is no problem for jellies, a general term for animals with boneless, squishy bodies. They collapse and expand to keep pressure balanced inside and out. Vertebrates like fish and whales have flexible bones or cartilage that bends under pressure. Thing to click. Okay. Giant eyes. All the light in this zone comes from animals, so to predators, every glow signals a meal. To detect light from afar, the world's largest invertebrate, the colossal squid, has the biggest eyes. They're the size of dinner plates. Colossal squid mostly eat other squid. Okay. The biggest gulp. Big meals are a rare treat, and Midnight Zone hunters take full advantage. Picture a brown balloon on a black string. That's what a gulper eel looks like when its toothless mouth supersizes to engulf prey. When the mouth deflates, the body reverts to a tube shape. Giant teeth. To gobble a rare large meal, predators like viperfish and fangtooth fish have teeth so long that they can't close their oversized mouths. Fangtooths look fierce, but they're only about the size of a hand. Viperfish feed near the surface at night and can grow foot-sized. Okay. Extreme mating. Biolight helps mates find each other. No easy feat in this immense void. To stay found, a male anglerfish fuses his tiny body into a far larger female, feeding only on her blood. He'll spend his entire life fertilizing the eggs she expels and then die, still a part of her. Interesting. Okay. Collective living. Siphonophores live in colonies to pool survival skills. These chains of mixed jellies, interesting, function like a floating city and can grow larger than a whale. Bell-shaped jellies provide propulsion while polyps filter feed and reproduce. A gas-filled float controls buoyancy. That's very interesting. Okay. The abyss. Below 4,000 meters, the continental shelf bottoms out into an abyssal plain, a mostly bare ocean floor. It covers half of Earth's surface, and yet 90% of the abyss is unexplored. Scant detritus from above settles in the mud. How do abyssal zone creatures survive? Alright. Extreme species. Deep sea species are often extreme versions of shallow forms. The globular Dumbo octopus has two floppy fins that look like ears. The fins help it hover over the bottom, while stumpy, webbed tentacles search for food. The eyes are mostly useless, with no retina or lens. Oh, it looks so interesting. Okay. Lonesome predator. The deep-sea lizardfish is a benthic hunter that devours anything within reach, even its own kind. The mouth, tongue, and jaws all have fangs. With mates scarce or apt to become dinner, this lonesome killer is a hermaphrodite having both male and female organs. Abyssal creatures don't rely much on sight. Rat tails have odor pits to sniff out carcasses. Tripod fish use extra long, sensitive fins to feel for food. They sometimes perch atop three bony fins, facing the current and swap passing prey into their mouths. That sounds like sea treaders from Subnautica, almost. Electrical sensors. Long-nosed chimera, cousins to sharks, are the top abyssal predators. Dot-sized sensors along the large snout detect electrical fields created by the muscle movements of crustaceans and other small prey. As with sharks, their teeth never stop growing. Okay. Oh, I can get this now. Perfect. Alright. I'll finish this and then read that. Okay. Benthic Desert. In a food desert, mobility beats drifting aimlessly or anchoring to rocks and waiting for a meal. At extreme depths, sea cucumbers, brittle stars, sea lilies, urchins, and other benthic bottom-dwelling creatures need to swim or crawl to find food. A gathering herd. Once, urchins, sea stars, and other echinoderms find their kind in this lonely void. They stick together. Herds of sea cucumbers walk along the muddy bottom, grazing on nutrients. Most echinoderms reproduce by splitting in two. They regenerate the missing parts. Okay. Whale fall. A gift from above. One whale carcass can feed the famished abyss for years. First in are sleeper sharks, hagfish, slime eels, and rat tails, then snow crabs, brittle stars, anemones, and others. Finally, hundreds of thousands of bone-eating worms reduce the skeleton to bits. Alright. Oh, hydrothermal vents. That's cool. Oh, and then I have these as well. Glow up. In the inky dark, creating light is just a first step. Using that glow to hunt or defend and to find mates is the key to survival. And then that's not the right one. Stronger together. In a harsh world, species team up to survive. Siphonophores are a model alliance of many creatures living as one. Alright. All of these are things that I've read before. I'm getting light bulb things now. So that's useful. Interesting. I don't want to do that right now. Oh, these are a new animal. clade comprising of both lagomorphs, rabbits and hares, and rodents. The glires are small mammals with distinctive teeth that grow continuously throughout their lifetime. Most are herbivores or insectivores, are small and furry, and have tails. That's cool. I'm pretty sure that thing was not there before. Okay. This one is so cheap. Doesn't give very much, but that's okay. Alright, well, I got enough mutagen from that for various things, so I guess that one makes the most sense. I just have so much to level up for that in general. Alright, and this is done. Yay! Oberon is the second largest moon of Uranus. All of this planet's moons are named after characters from works written by William Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. Oberon is the king of the fairies in Shakespeare's play A Midsummer Night's Dream. I was just talking about this like 2 days ago with my dad about which ones have, or which planet has those moons. Alright. I need so much dark matter here. Anyway, I'll go back to this since this is kind of the point of why I'm playing right now anyway. Okay. These are getting so expensive, but that's okay. Right. I'm curious what these other things are that haven't shown up yet. Although I feel like I've gotten pretty far through this already. So that's pretty satisfying. This one has an interesting name. So much clicking as always. This one is also interesting because it's laid out just going straight down, whereas a lot of the other ones have been very spirally, and it makes sense for what this is, but it's interesting. Also, another thing that's interesting is this is saying hydrothermal vents, which are making this smoke here. But those are typically like on the seafloor. So then why is it still going so far down? I'm not sure. Everything is so expensive now. I'm trying to decide if I want to upgrade the trenches or get Haddle Extremes next. This takes so long now. I think I'm gonna level up the trenches next, just because the other one is so much more expensive, so. I also want to get more of the Abyss and the Midnight Zone to see if I can finish this particular goal. I don't know if I can at this point because they're already kind of expensive. But we'll see. This is very slow progress, but it's progress all the same. In one of my science classes, we were learning about ocean currents and kind of like where the water warms versus cools and how that affects the whole flow of ocean water. And it takes way longer for water to cycle around the ocean than a lot of us in that class were expecting. It takes like, I don't remember exactly, but like 1,000 years or something for water to go around the whole current loop thing. So that's very interesting. And it has to do with like the density of the water plus also the temperature of the water and all of this stuff. So it's very, very complicated, but also cool. The ocean is such a weird place. It's so unexplored, even though it's on Earth, and people talk about how we know more about the moon than our own ocean. And I don't know if that's exactly true. I feel like there's still some stuff we don't know about the moon too, but that is just so wild that like we built vehicles, I guess, for lack of a better word, that can go to the moon, to Mars, to like out past the solar system, if we're talking about like Voyager and those things. And we've built all of these things, and yet there's still so much on Earth that we don't know in the oceans. And I think it goes to show like it's such a hostile environment to try and explore that, because of like pressure and just everything. So many things could go wrong, and it's just such an extreme area. And it's like space is also very extreme, but the fact that we know more about certain things on completely different planets or moons or just outside the Earth, and yet there's so much on Earth that's just a complete mystery. I think it's also really interesting how the deep ocean causes like extreme versions. Like one of these was talking about the kind of extreme version of things that exist closer to the surface, but also the kind of scale of everything down there, because I've seen pictures of anglerfish and people tend to think they're pretty small, but they're huge. Some of them. I'm sure there are smaller ones, but some of them can be so large compared to like a human. But then when they are in this just complete void of everything, they don't seem big in the scale of the environment they live in, and it's so fascinating. Also, I didn't read this. Okay. The trenches. The ocean floor is scarred with troughs and trenches, cracks formed between tectonic plates. Below 6,000 meters, this Hadal zone, named for the Greek god Hades, oh that makes sense, is nearly as deep as the 4 previous zones combined. Some life here is like nowhere else on Earth. Alright, and I can finally level that up. Yeah, it's so fascinating, just the scale of everything and all that. It's wild. I think it's also interesting, like, there's certain people I know who talk about, like, should we learn everything we can about the ocean, or is some of it better left undisturbed or unexplored? Which is an interesting sort of concept of, like, when it comes to a place that has potentially really, really strange creatures, and like we already know there are creatures down there that are very strange, when compared to like the normal animals we're used to. But it's like, it would be interesting to know it all, but then it wouldn't leave that mystery anymore. And it would also, like, some people I feel like would prefer not to know, like a kind of ignorance is bliss kind of thing, if there is some really crazy thing in the ocean that might, you know, traumatize some people or something. It's really strange to think about. It's really interesting, though. I know some people who are like, oh yeah, if I could go down super deep in the ocean and see things in like a submarine or something, I would. And then I know others who are like, no, I like the beach, but I'm not gonna swim in the ocean or like go in the ocean and get like anywhere near sharks or anything like that. And then I know people kind of in the middle, and then I know people on like the very extreme who are like, I will not even touch ocean water and I don't want to know anything about anything that could be in there. And then others who are like, I want to study every single detail of the ocean. And it's so interesting how differently people respond to the same kind of thing and dilemma and questions about a thing like the ocean, where it is so mysterious and so huge that it's like we're probably never gonna discover it all, because it's so big that it's like, well, on top of just, you know, trying to figure out like what there is, there's also like especially with the oceans warming so much right now, it's like by the time you discover something in the ocean, like it might be completely new or like recently mutated or evolved to adapt, or we might be missing tons of things that are going extinct because of whatever reason. And it's just like, how much will we never discover because it just won't be there when researchers actually look for it? And how much will they find that they think has been around for so long but is actually relatively new? It's an interesting kind of question. Alright, also, like, the things talking about whale falls and how they provide a ton of nutrients and all that. I wonder if with sea level and sea temperature changing closer to the surface, if it's making more large animals die off for various reasons. Whether it's natural causes, whether it's not being able to deal with the increasing temperature, whether it's like getting hunted or oil spills or various other things that could cause harm to these creatures. I wonder if more are dying, and maybe that's actually causing more food for these lower areas of the sea. That would be also interesting, because if they are getting more nutrients and food down there, like what's that gonna mean for what they're able to do now? Weird things to think about. Alright, well, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get much more progress done, just because it is kind of late here, and it's also not very long left on this, and these are all very expensive, so I think I'm just gonna read the ones that I have left, even though I didn't end up getting them, and then leave this here. So first, briny death traps. Brine pools form in low spots on the seafloor. The water is so packed with salt that animals venturing into it die and get pickled. The small pools teem with extremophiles, microbes adapted to living to extreme conditions. Mussels living around the edge feed on bacteria. Cold seeps are vents where methane is a chemical engine for making sugar. This chemosynthesis is carried out by bacteria and a menagerie of one-celled microbes in the kingdom Archaea, maybe, which means ancient. Seeps are stable, and so ecosystems can last for centuries. Haddle extremes, Haddle snailfish, the deepest recorded living fish, have no scales, no photophores, and no air-filled swim bladder for buoyancy. A slimy goo keeps their pale pink translucent bodies afloat. A species of cusk eel, a benthic fish, may live even deeper. Interesting. Like, that's the thing, we just don't know what's out there. Hydrothermal vents. At holes in Earth's crust, frigid seawater meets molten rock. It superheats and jets upward like a geyser, carrying a brew of minerals. Hot vents attract some 500 species, but they fizzle out within decades. Anything that can't drift or swim to a new home dies off. Again, just the extremeness of all of this is so fascinating. But this has been so much fun. I liked learning about all of this. I'm also excited because one coming soon is Unfolding the Universe, which seems so cool. And so I'm definitely looking forward to that. But for now, I'm gonna leave this episode here. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!